All right, please give Scott a big round of applause.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. So how many of you were with us for lunch? For a few of you here with me, okay. So if you weren't here with me lunch, kind of bear with me a little bit because I wasn't sure exactly who was going to join us here versus who was already there. So I kind of went back and made some adjustments, and I'm calling this presentation exactly the same but different than my one I did at lunchtime, okay? And if you aren't familiar, so I've titled my presentation, Creating Your Own Automated Relationship Machine. I've tried to emphasize this over and over again. Whether you're here, well, you're here obviously because you're trying to figure out how to do this note investing thing, right? Your goal is to try and create other revenue streams and retirement, all that kind of stuff. And we want to talk about how what we do helps augment that, right? To help you put your business on automation, how you can be able to help yourself in the processes. In reality, no matter what you're doing, whether you're providing products or services or whether you are investing, we're in the relationship business, right? It's about creating relationships, building trust. So I am really grateful to Aaron and Travis, two of the most upstanding individuals that I know, particularly sometimes in an industry that may not come across that way, right? These are really good men. I'm grateful that they would invite us to be here. We're thankful for our partnership. And I thought a lot about it. After I was first invited, I thought about this idea of the Note Investor Summit Live. And I started thinking about a summit. Now, I was raised in Alaska. Anybody been to Alaska? So when I think about a summit, I think about a what? A mountain, okay? And of course in Alaska, we're not just talking little mountains, we're talking big mountains, and particularly Mount McKinley. Anybody been to Alaska? Okay, so Mount McKinley, I always like to tell people, that was our third grade field trip. I grew up in Kenai, Alaska. We went on a field trip to Mount McKinley. It was a 3-hour bus drive, then a 3-hour train ride to get to Mount. That's quite the field trip, right? But Mount McKinley is the largest mountain in the continental United States, 20,237 feet. And I start thinking about the summit of your business, the summit of what you're trying to accomplish. And I like the Note Investor Summit, not live, but live. Right? Because you're trying to create your own life, right? That your own summit, where you want to be. And I hope it's big. I hope your goals are massive. And you start thinking about Mount McKinley. Many people wanted to try and climb Mount McKinley. Matter of fact, the first summit was June 7th of 1913. The very first time Mount McKinley was summited. Now, many people have tried to attempt it since then. As a matter of fact, the first person from the top of Mount McKinley said this: the view from the top of Mount McKinley is like looking out the windows of heaven. I mean, I can only imagine standing on the top of Mount McKinley what you might be able to see. And one of the things that's helpful for small business owners, entrepreneurs, is vision. And I hope you can vision it. I hope you can see yourself stand on the top of that mountain of your life and what you want to see, and I hope it's exactly what you want it to be, and you're going to make every effort to get there. Now, what happened is from 1903 to 2011, many people have attempted. As a matter of fact, 52% success rate. Pretty good analogy to entrepreneurs, wouldn't you say? The success rate of entrepreneurs is not that good, and there were some casualties along the way. And maybe you're familiar with some of those. Maybe you experienced some of those casualties as you've lived in that entrepreneurial world trying to do your own thing. For me, Mount McKinley is and summiting is a very good analogy to running your own business. So here's the deal. It got to a point where summiting wasn't enough. It's not about getting to the top. It's about getting there as quickly as you can. As a matter of fact, in 2013, Ed Warren summited in 12 hours and 29 minutes, just under 17 hours round trip. Can you imagine? 12 hours and 29 minutes? And now it's not about summiting. Now it's about speed. And isn't that why you're here? Because you've got your own summit. And you don't just want to get there. You want to get there how? As quick as you can. As quickly as humanly possible, and that's what we want to talk about. So I really believe that all entrepreneurs have their own summit, their own journey, and I'm going to spend a lot of time here, but just kind of set the stage a little bit for what we like to talk about and why we do what we do at Infusionsoft. And I always say there's 6 stages in the entrepreneurial journey. So as you take a look at this, I want you to ask yourself the question. Question number 1, where am I in the journey? Question number 2, where do I want to be in the journey? And question number 3, how quickly do I want to get there? So stage 1, as we call that, buy yourself a job, right? We decide I'm not going to do it for somebody else. I'm going to do it for myself. So I buy myself a job, and I keep plugging along until I get to stage 2, which is sink or swim. And we just concluded most entrepreneurs what? Sink unless you do what Dory the fish says. What does Dory the fish say? Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So you keep plugging along, and you get to that coveted stage 3. The dream. Getting by. Is that the dream? And yet that's where most entrepreneurs live. They live in stage 3. But stage 4 is what we're talking about today, where you start to leverage and let go. As you start to leverage and let go, you get to stage 5, which is the freedom stage. Matter of fact, you ask any entrepreneur the number one reason why they started their own business, why they do what they do on their own, it's what? It's freedom. But I've come to learn over the last 2.5 years that I've worked with Infusionsoft, left a 20-year career in education as a teacher and administrator to work for a software company, because I get to travel the world and rub shoulders with entrepreneurs. And as I do that, I've come to realize that you're so much more than just freedom. You have higher purposes. You've got mountains that are so high, the things that you want to accomplish are amazing. And what's interesting, if you look at my diagram, it's over time and money. As a teacher, what got me out of bed every morning was the phrase, money doesn't buy happiness. That's how I got to work every day, right? And I believe that. It doesn't buy happiness, but it sure can rent it. I don't know if you've noticed that. It sure can rent it, and it sure does provide opportunities. And that's why, when you think about the investing in what you're doing here, it's just not about making money. It's about higher purposes. It's about making a difference. You're change agents. You want to make a difference in the world, and we want to help you do that. And so that's what we do. We help small businesses succeed. And that's why someone in my background in education could leave that 20 years and move into the entrepreneurial world, because we want to help you be successful. Unfortunately, there are some pains to this. Whether you're investing or running your business, there are some pains to running that business. And if you have a pain and go to the doctor, what's the question? What's the doctor going to ask you? Where does it hurt, right? So think about entrepreneurship. Think about what you do. Some of the pains are wasting time completing the same repetitive tasks. Anybody feel the pains of doing the same things over and over again? That's painful. Or how about the pain of letting valuable leads simply fall through the cracks? So you have valuable leads come, but they fall through the cracks because I can't pay attention to all of them. Or what about the ones that I do pay attention to? I'm not making the highest possible return. Is that a pain for anybody? That I'm not getting the highest possible return on that lead that's coming in? Or what about not being able to maintain the many numerous systems? As I'm turning to systems and solutions to help me, I can't maintain them all. Or how about this, that as a business owner, you're not actually enjoying a better life-work balance than as an employee? That sometimes we look at entrepreneurs and look back and go, man, maybe it wasn't so bad when I had a job, right? Because at least I could turn it off. At least I could go home for the weekend. At least I can, at 6 p.m., be with my family. That's a pain. But how about the pain of having to actually sacrifice the growing of your business because you're too busy working on your business? Working in your business. Is that a pain? Yeah, I can't work on it because I'm too busy working in it. So let me illustrate. Again, I'm a teacher, and if you were with me this at lunch, we talked bananas. Today we're going to talk strawberries, okay? Exactly the same, but different, right? So imagine that every customer, or potential customer, or every person is a strawberry, okay? Now, if you're in the process of converting leads come in, let's assume you have a 10% closure rate, okay? A 10% conversion rate. So for every 100 leads that come in, you get 10 clients or customers, okay? So here's how most entrepreneurs view things, okay? So those 10% are viewed as good, right? You go to the field, they're ready to pick, you pick them, they're good. Now, here's the problem. If they're not ready to pick, we view them as what? Bad. Do you see any potential problem here, right? So we're saying 90% of the leads that come in are bad simply because why? They're not ready right now. Let me tell you what's really happening. What really happened is, yes, there are those who will be ready to buy today, that are ready to jump on board, they believe in what you do, and they'll become a customer or a client. And yes, there are those that no matter what you do, no matter what effort, no matter how much attention you give them, they will never be ready. But guess what? You don't want them. But what about those who could be ready today with a little bit of effort? What about those who could be ready not today, but in a week or maybe in a month? What about them? Can you see the cost of viewing leads this way? And this is how the majority of you view it. As a matter of fact, I said it before, I believe that most of you are living anywhere between $500,000 to $2 million on the table simply by viewing your leads this way. Because you spend all this money to invest in a field. And you harvest the field, you get all the good berries, and then you abandon that field, go spend more money to buy another field, and all the while, guess what's happening? People are back in your old field harvesting your berries. Painful. But you understand you got to do more than that. You understand that you have to put forth a little more effort. So you grab your watering can and you go out to the field and you water them and you pay attention. And because of those efforts, those individual efforts, you get a greater return. How many of you have seen that when you put forth a little more effort, you get a little bit greater return? But what if I could show you a different way? What if I could show you a better way to water the fields so that you can get this kind of return? Friends, today I have 3 takeaways for you. Okay, this is what I want you to leave here with today. Takeaway number 1 is to stop letting profits rot in the field. Okay, it's important, write her down her. Stop letting profits rot in the field. That's got to be takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2 is invest the energy and resources to solve the problem. I'm sorry to say that just declaring, Scott, today I will stop letting profits rot in the field will not be enough. A personal declaration will not suffice. You will have to invest the energy and resources to solve the problem. And then takeaway number 3, make it happen automatically. Make it happen automatically. That is what I want to talk about today. This is why I do what I do. This is why I will travel across country. I will travel around the world to help you get the greatest return so you can summit your mountain, so you can accomplish your dreams and make a difference in the world that, not only my world, but my children's world and the world that my grandchildren one day grow up in. Now, this afternoon at lunch, we talked about the process. We said, if you want something done right, don't do it yourself. If you want something done right, who remembers? Build a process, right? Build a process. That's how it gets done right every single time. Now, I'm not going to spend hardly any time at all here, but the process that we use is life cycle marketing. We talk about attract, sell, and wow. Attract the right people, give them something of value, capture their information, then start marketing to them. Educate, nurture, add value. Then you extend an offer and close the deal. And then you deliver and satisfy and wow. And then you offer more and you get referrals and then you repeat, right? That's it. Now, what I didn't do at lunch, that I want to make sure we make an offer to, is I have created a life cycle marketing ebook bundle that helps you in each of these 3 areas. And if you'll bring a business card, or we have forms in the back, in our booth back there, if you'll come by the booth, I'll give you this email bundle, this ebook bundle. The ebook bundle is the first ebook is how to turn visitors into leads, how to build an online lead capture machine, okay? We've created an ebook to help you learn how to do that. Anybody on social media at all, using social media? Now, let me guess. Fans, do they pay the bills? Followers, they help you pay your mortgage, right? No, we don't want fans and followers. We want customers. So we've created an ebook to help you learn how to turn fans and followers into customers. And finally, in the wow phase, we've created an ebook that shows you how to deliver, satisfy, repeat. Deliver, satisfy, repeat. How you do that process to continually wow. So just make sure you bring a business card back to us or come fill out a form, and I'll send you our Lifecycle Marketing ebook bundle, okay? Now, we also said this afternoon that if you have a process but you don't have a system, what do you really have? You have chaos, right? You have nothing more than chaos. And so we say that the system is Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is a system that drives the process. But it also helps you overcome that chaos, because we talk about multi-system management. How many of you are using multiple systems to manage your business or manage what you're doing, right? Sometimes I've got contact management, I've got a calendar, I've got my website, I've got social media, maybe got some email marketing, I'm managing orders, I got my phone. And the problem with all of these systems is what? They're disjointed, and they don't speak to each other, and it's very difficult. So one of the ways we first and foremost overcome the chaos is through an all-in-one solution. We have created at Infusionsoft an all-in-one sales and marketing software specifically designed for you, the small business owner. We are the CRM, the database, we are the marketing, and we are the shopping cart. But the reality is you don't need the shopping cart. If you're here to talk about note investing and those kind of things, you just need the database and the marketing. So what I want to do is I want to show you how the automation component works, okay? Because that's the bread and butter, the heart and soul of Infusionsoft, is that we're this automated component that makes things happen automatically. Now, I suggested at lunch that there are 5 ways in which automation is going to help you, okay? Now, the first way automation helps you is obviously fix follow-up failure. We talked this afternoon, the fortunes in the follow-up, right? That 90% that we're leaving alone because they're not ready right now, automation will fix that. Automation will also manage daily processes. It's going to give you valuable information. I'll talk a little more about that in just a minute. And it's also going to speed your success. Remember on the entrepreneurial journey, on your own summit, the 3 questions? Where am I? Where do I want to be? And what was the third question? How quickly do I want to get there? Automation speeds that process. And for many of us, we don't have all the time in the world. If we're going to get to our summit, we've got to find a way to do it more quickly. But ideally, and the best thing that it does is automation creates time for you, right? It allows you to have the time, the freedom that you seek, because you're able to put a lot of those tasks and things on automation, on autopilot. So what I want to do now is I want to spend some time talking about how. How does Infusionsoft do the very things we're talking about? How does the automation component work? So if it's okay with you, with your permission, I'm going to share with you some specific ways that Infusionsoft can help you in your business, okay? And please know I'm going to have some time, hopefully at the end, for some Q&A. So if you have some questions, save them up, and we'll try and answer them, okay? So first of all, I think one of the great things that we're going to do is help you to get organized. We don't talk a lot about it, but within Infusionsoft, you pull up what's called My Day. Right? Our goal is a one-stop shop that you only have to open Infusionsoft and nothing else. So when you open up Infusionsoft, you're going to be able to manage all your appointments. You're going to be able to create your to-do lists, set reminders and tasks. You're going to streamline the workday, create notes, right, within the database. So you're going to create notes on each of your clients. And you're going to be able to trigger the automated follow-up, all right from a dashboard. All right from My Day. So the very first thing we're going to do is help you get organized. By a show of hands, how many could use help being a little more organized in your processes, right? Can't we all, right? Absolutely. And those that didn't raise your hand, you're like me. You won't raise your hand no matter what, right? How many want $1 million? You're not going to raise your hand. Just give me $1 million. I get it, okay? But know that that's one of the things that we do, is we're going to help you manage and get organized for your day. Now, let's talk about the CRM for a minute. When we say CRM, what does CRM stand for? Customer Relation Management. In other words, it's your database, okay? Now, this database is more than just a place to house information. And we've talked this afternoon about segmentation and tagging, so you can have target groups. Like, for example, is there going to be a different message to a borrower than a lender? Yeah, absolutely. And you want to be able to speak specifically to them. So as you're creating automated follow-up, you've got to do so in a personalized way. And you can't do that with just a traditional database. You have to have a database that allows you to segment. We call it tagging. Allows you to tag people, label them in such a way you can send specific messages to them. But within what I love about our database, what I love about our CRM, is it allows you to keep all the data under one roof. Underneath the Infusionsoft roof, you not just have the traditional name and email, but you have their email communication. Right? When you pull up a contact record in Infusionsoft, let's say you're on the phone with someone and they want to know about a purchase that they made 6 months ago. They want to know about, the communication you have. You're able to pull all that stuff up under one roof. So you can keep track of the emails, your notes, your follow-up communication, any kind of purchase history. It's all there. You don't have to search and pull up this one. I got this spreadsheet and into this document. It's all in one. Right? You can upload and you keep all that information under one roof. Is that appealing to anybody? Right? So when you're on the phone with someone, you have all the information you need about them. Because we've heard it all the time. Information is what? It's power, right? The more you know, the more you serve. The more you serve, the more you sell. And so we put it all underneath one roof. Not only that, but we allow you to create custom fields. Sometimes within systems, and particularly in software, you're limited to specific things. And you say, but man, I have specific business information that I really need to know. Great. In Infusionsoft, we allow you to create custom fields. So you can collect that specific information to help you better serve your clients. You can also include social media accounts, any goals, questionnaires, and not just demographics, but psychographics, right? So you can keep track of all that kind of stuff through our custom fields. And as I talked about at lunch, you also can know your numbers. Any sports fans? right? When you take a look at this scoreboard right here, if I am the home team, what do I know? Just from that scorecard, from the scoreboard, what do I know right now? I'm winning, okay? I am winning by 6 points. What else do I know? I have the ball, okay? I do have the ball. So I have the ball. Anything else I know? It's the fourth quarter. Why is that important to know, Yvonne? Okay, I know how much time is left, right? So by this information, I know it's 3rd down and 10. I know a lot of stuff that's going to help me make decisions on the fly, right? Every down, that scoreboard lets me know what to do. Now, if I am losing, that's a different story. Is that going to change my play calls? I may have to pass. In this particular case, because I'm winning, even though it's 3rd and 10, I may still decide to what? Run the ball, not worry about it because I don't want to turn it over. All that information helps me know what to do. Automation does that for you. Infusionsoft is like a scoreboard that allows you to know what's working, what's not working. Let me see if I can explain. So when you know your numbers, one of the things you can do with Infusionsoft is we have great tracking capabilities, right? Because you want to know what works, what doesn't. Because if it works, what do you want to do? Keep doing it. And if it doesn't work, you're going to what? Yeah, like most, you're going to just keep doing it anyway and hope it will work one day. No, you want to stop. So with Infusionsoft's tracking capabilities, you can track your costs per lead, you can track your costs per prospect, and ultimately your costs per customer. What's working, what's not working. Again, I apologize for another sports analogy, but I got 4 sons. That's all we do, right? What you're looking for. And you know what that's called in baseball? It's called the sweet spot, right? You want to hit the ball on the sweet spot of the bat. And if you don't hit it on the sweet spot, matter of fact, if you miss it just right on the wood bat, what's it going to do? It's going to shatter. But when you hit the ball, anybody play baseball? When you hit the ball on the sweet spot of the bat, guess what? It's like you don't even feel it. And the ball just goes and goes and goes. So you're looking for a sweet spot from your numbers. Now the sweet spot, I gotta tell you what I did here. So I'm not an investor guy. You know, I sit in the back of the room these last couple days and I'm listening to people talk and I'm like, my wife wishes I knew what was going on here so I could make money and stuff. But they're throwing in all these acronyms and stuff, and I'm just kind of acting like I know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to be kind of cool while I'm here too. So I threw up my own, right? So you want your LCV to be greater than your CAC, right? Yeah, the sweet spot is when you find the right lead sources and process so your lifetime customer value is greater than your cost per acquisition cost, right? Right? Your customer acquisition cost, that it's greater, right? That you're talking that you have a greater ROI. See, I'm just trying to fit in here, using all the right financial lingo, right? But that's the sweet spot. And you can't know the sweet spot without tracking, without an ability to say, hey, this is working. When I put them through this process, my lifetime customer value is greater than what it costs me to get them into my system. Because if it costs you more to get them into your system than they're worth, then guess what? Not a good way to get a client, right? So you've got to figure out those, and tracking helps you to do that. We also allow you to track conversion rates, and we talk about email marketing. Wouldn't it be nice to know, did they open it? Did they not open it? So within Infusionsoft, you can also track, take for example, lead sources. Maybe I'm driving people from Facebook or Twitter, or I've got a blog, or I'm using a video, or maybe whatever it is. I want to know what's working. And I can only know that if they come from my Twitter feed, I have a 50% greater open rate than I do if they come from Facebook or whatever. But we provide you that opportunity to track those conversion rates. Make sense? Bottom line, friends, you got to know your numbers. You got to. You've got to have that scoreboard in front of you all the time so you can make very good decisions, particularly when you're on the goal line, on second down, on the half-yard line of the Super Bowl, okay? Just throwing that out there again. I can't get over that, okay? Now, also within Infusionsoft, we're going to help you capture information, right? In that phase of a track, you offer them something of great value. Maybe it's a free report. Maybe it's a video. Maybe it's a newsletter. So we're going to create the web form and the landing page in Infusionsoft that's going to allow them to opt in, to give you what you want. And what do you want? their info, right? So I can market to them. So we create the order. So here's an example, really good friend of mine, Ben Glass in Virginia. If you went to his website, you can see it says right there, click here to download the Virginia Car Accident Guide. So you click on that, and it takes you to a landing page created in Infusionsoft where they can just say, here, give me a name and email. And notice they've even been a little more technical by they're allowing themselves to segment, because look what they're doing. And for each of those buttons, depending upon what button they click, it applies a what? A tag, which then is going to give them more information on how to market best to those. Again, personalized, automated follow-up. Now, we talk a lot about campaigns. We talk about the fortune being in the follow-up. Now, this afternoon at lunch, I talked about our marketplace. Now, in our marketplace, there are a lot of things you can find. We created Infusionsoft with an open API. That's a real fancy way of saying so that if you want it to do something that it doesn't do, a smart person can bridge that gap. If you've got an integration over here and here's Infusionsoft, we've made it so they can talk to each other. You just need to get someone to create it to connect the two. So in our marketplace, you can find a lot of really cool third-party applications, a lot of third-party additions that make Infusionsoft even better. So if you want to move away from emails, you want to start doing texting, well, there's some applications you can do to take it to a whole new level. But also in our marketplace, and this was interesting. The other day, last week, I was at an event here in San Diego, and I was talking to a customer about this, about the marketplace, and how we have over 50 ready-to-use free campaigns. And she said, I had no idea they were there. I just assumed the marketplace was where you go to what? Buy stuff. I didn't know that in the marketplace, you've got free stuff. And we have over 50 free ready-to-use campaigns that all you got to do is click install. It transports it into your application. You tweak it with your logo, maybe a little bit of voice, but it's all set up for you. So this afternoon at lunch, I talked about using Snap. Now again, who was not with me at lunch? Okay, let me just quick, because this is the coolest thing about Infusionsoft, right? So when you come to events like this, you collect business cards, right? And what do you do with those business cards? I lose them. I go in a stack. I forget them, right? Well, now with Snap by Infusionsoft, it's a free download. You download it to your mobile phone. You take a picture of that business card. That picture is sent to our team in Arizona. They then enter the information for accuracy, and they send it back to you and says, you now have a new contact. Apply a tag, and that tag is going to do what? Start a follow-up sequence. So imagine automatically being able to follow up. Imagine getting a business card and then 1 hour later or the next day, whatever you decide, they get an email that says, hey, it was great meeting you at Note Investor Summit. Love for you to go check out my website. Just like automatically. So there's a free download, a free campaign for using Snap. Automatic at a networking event. Okay. In addition to that, I talked about a newsletter. How many of you do newsletters as a method of adding value and education? Friends, this is a very simple way of creating your expertise, of helping add value, helping to educate in a way so people will want to invest with you, so people will want to work with you. This is a simple way of doing it. So, and we also talked about how you focus on your hottest leads. We have a campaign in place where you set up the process so you only have to spend time with those who are most ready. Right? We call it lead scoring. Matter of fact, even within the contact record, there's flames. And depending on how you set it up, when let's say they've registered for your newsletter, that's one flame. They've opened a free report, that's another flame. They've downloaded a video, that's another flame. Now, when that's 3 flames, it's going to send you a task that says what? Call them. They're ready, okay? They've done all these different things. Because we talked this afternoon earlier about 2 things you need to sell people to you. And it's it. That's all you need. Number 1 is you need permission, right? You need their permission to sell to them. And that's what education is. When I give them an offer and they opt in, what are they saying? You have my permission. When they watch a video, what are they saying? You have my permission. And the more they engage, the more permission they offer, right? So you want permission to be high. And the second thing you need besides permission is relevancy. If what you are offering is relevant to their pain or relevant to their needs, then you extend the offer, right? So permission and relevancy, that's all you need. So we have a campaign already in place that helps you do all that sifting for you, right? It's the scrub campaign. You're scrubbing them through, find the ones who are ready, so you spend time talking to who? Those who are ready. That you're not spending time, you're ready with the ones that just need a little bit of attention, not the strawberries that are still white. You've got ones that are just almost red, they're just not quite there. That's who you want to spend your time with, and we help you do that. I also talked this afternoon about one of the most used campaigns, which is a simple birthday reminder. A way to wow your people, that you just automatically send them a birthday wish without even thinking about it, right? And a very simple campaign already set up for you. Now, what I didn't talk about, how many of you have sell any services or products online? Any of you sell any of those online? I had a few this afternoon. I wasn't sure. I won't spend time here too much, but this is a really cool campaign. Because if you go to buy something online, have you ever filled a cart and then abandoned it? Happens all the time, right? And the number one reason for cart abandonment, you know what it is? You got to enter your information again, right? And they don't want to do that. That's the beauty of having it all tied into your CRM. It already auto-populates. But if they abandon the cart, this campaign is set up to reach out to them, to follow up with them, saying, hey, you hit the buy now, but you didn't follow through, and we have a 19.8% recovery rate. So imagine that, extra 20% of your customers convert. Simply, just kind of a cool campaign. Here's one of the really cool things. How many of you have heard of a Net Promoter Score? Have you heard of Net Promoter Score? It's a way of managing or keeping your finger on the pulse of customer satisfaction. And it's one simple question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to your friends or family? Simple question, right? If they give you a 9 or a 10, they're a promoter. And what do I want to do with the promoter? I want to get testimonials. I want to get referrals, right? If they're a 7 or an 8, we call them passes. We look for ways that I can maybe better serve them. And if they're a 0 to a 6, we call them detractors. And we better do something there, because we do not want detractors kind of speaking out against our business, especially in a day and age where all they got to do is hit post. That's a terrible word for a 0-6, right? Because then they're going to post things on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever, and then it just starts going viral, right? So you want to be able to reach out to them. So we have a campaign that's already in place, again, free download, to help you reach out to them. So it sends the email, and you can decide how often, every 30, 60, 90 days, that asks the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to our friends or family? If they give you a 9 or a 10, automatically an email goes out to them asking for a what? A referral. 7 or 8, an email goes out to kind of give them a little more value, show them a little more love. 0 to 6, guess what happens? They don't get an email. Who gets an email? You do. That says what? Call them, okay? Get on the phone. Just like, how cool would that be? They fill out the survey, give you a 4, and automatically you call and say, hey, I understand we haven't really done what we said we were going to do. How can we? Boom. Talk about wowing a customer. When you can respond that quick to a survey to help maintain the wow factor, pretty huge, right? This one is our top performing campaign. It is the most downloaded free campaign that we offer, and it is used and most successfully. And this is event registration and follow-up. Now, as you're looking to build your note investing business, okay, how many are you going to need capital for that? Anybody going to need some capital? And how do you gain capital? You gain trust. How do you gain trust? But you educate. You add value. You help people see why it is that you're the person or you're the organization that they need to invest in, right? And the way you do that is a couple ways. Yes, there's a newsletter, but probably one of the greatest ways to do so is by holding a what? Anyone know? A webinar. Which is a type of an event, right? We talk about event registration. It doesn't have to be something like this, although Aaron and Travis use Infusionsoft. You get the emails, you get the follow-up to help you get here, because let's be honest, getting someone to sign up for an event is different from getting someone to what? Show up to an event. And I don't just want them to register, I want them to attend. And so we already have a free, ready-to-use campaign that will help you manage a webinar. So if you're going to have a webinar, you're going to send out the emails to get people to register for the webinar. Then once they register for the webinar, they're going to receive follow-up emails encouraging them to what? To attend. And then after they attend, what are they going to get? Emails afterwards, follow-up, promoting, and encouraging. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, all these are already ready. Now, where I want to kind of conclude today, and I've got, how much time do I have? Do you know? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do now is I believe that success leaves clues. And we talked a little bit at lunch. If you're here at lunch, I talked to you about Dr. Dustin Burleson, who is one of our really top performers. He was a finalist in our Ultimate Market of the Year a couple years ago. He's an orthodontist that has absolutely figured out how to automate his business, okay? Now, a lot of things we're going to talk about are how they're using their business, but you're going to see some applications here. So I'm going to talk to you about the two people. First, the Gleason Financial Group. These are financial planners, and they had two big problems. Problem number one is they were wasting a lot of time, as we said, using multiple systems. They were really overwhelming themselves trying to manage their business. And the second problem that they had was they were spending way too much time acquiring new leads. They would actually hold steak dinner seminars to get people to come, and then they wouldn't follow up with them. So they're spending all this money, but they're not getting the kind of returns that they wanted to get. So enter Infusionsoft. So they purchased Infusionsoft, begin to leverage the power of the CRM, begin to leverage the power of the organization, begin to leverage the power of automating the tasks and the follow-up, and look what happened. Their annual revenue increased by 100%. How many would be happy with half that kind of an increase, right? They also were able to see their clients were doubled. They went from 468 clients to over 1,000 clients. The money they spent was reduced by 90%, and the best part was they were able to spend more time with their growing family. Okay, our financial planner. Now, do we have any realtors here? Anybody that are working in real estate? Okay, one of my favorite success stories is Jeremy. Jeremy, so he had been self-employed since 2001 and been doing real estate since 2007. And he really kind of struggled as an individual agent, but he really pushed through. He added a buyer agent and a part-time admin in 2011 and actually had his most successful year in 2011. I mean, but if you're in the real estate industry, you know that to have a successful year usually means what? You've worked your guts out. And he got to the point that even though 2011 was a banner year for him, I mean, he crushed it in 2011. Guess what happened in 2012? He's burnt out. He is ready to give it all up. He almost quit the business because it was just too much for him to keep. And he has a family, right? He just couldn't keep doing it. Enter Infusionsoft. So he gets Infusionsoft and again begin to implement all the things we've been talking about. He increased his total volume by 326%. He went from $81,000 in gross commission income to $266,000 in gross commission income. He went from 1 employee to 5 employees. He's able to add 3 more additional staff members. And the best part, he went from no vacation to 20 days vacation. Happy wife, happy life, right? And suddenly he's now happy again because a lot of those processes were put on automation. Make sense? So we have a few minutes. I've talked about a lot of stuff. I feel like I've just like rapid fire, okay? Questions. What can I answer for you that might help you, Ram? Okay, excellent question and great use of the word, Kickstart. So with Infusionsoft, we've gone through a lot of different models, as many businesses do, in terms of how we get people using our software. And we require a one-time entry fee, Kickstart, okay? That Kickstart is $2,000, right? And that Kickstart gives you your own consultant, okay? So you get up to 4 hours in those first 30 days with a consultant that's assigned for you. So that very first phone call is going to be all about your business. Our consultants are not just trained in Infusionsoft, they're trained in small business, right? And if you are in a particular industry, you can specifically request and say, hey, listen, I'm in real estate. Do you know real estate? Can I work with someone who does? And we can at least try to find someone that's specific. But no, because our software services 50,000 customers, 90,000 users, know that, you may get some of that, round robin who you're going to get. But you're going to get a consultant, and that consultant in that Kickstart for that $2,000, you get the coaching, You're going to get a 90-day implementation plan, okay? So they're going to say, okay, first 30 days, we're going to help you do some stuff. Part of what they're going to do for you is set up 2 personalized campaigns for you. So we're going to be up and running, set up and using it. We're going to import your data from wherever it's at into Infusionsoft. We're going to set up your dashboard, set up your lead capture, sync it to either Outlook or Gmail, whatever it is you might be using, and all that's for $2,000. If you add it all up, it's like a $3,000 value, but we only charge $2,000 for. Best $2,000 investment. And it's not just about training. I so appreciate that word Kickstart because people think, well, I'm tech savvy. It's not about training. It's about getting you up and running and using it right away, right? And that's what our Kickstart is for, right? And so we do that. Matter of fact, probably 5 or 6 years ago, we changed the model because people were kind of kicking against the $2,000 upfront, so we took it away. We said, fine, we listened to our customers, just have the monthly, and guess what happened? 40% cancellation rate. They just weren't using the software. So we said, we backed away. Guess what our cancellation rate is now? 2%, right? Because we're here to help you. So great question. But here's the deal. Today, at the event, because of my partnership with Aaron and Travis, I'm giving you the Kickstart for $9.99. I'm cutting it in half, okay? And if you need it, I will do a 2-pay for you, so without any extra. Sometimes, no charge. So I can split it in half, so it's a great time to purchase. In addition to that, while we're talking numbers, in addition to that, we're a subscription-based company. Right? We have no contracts. We earn your business month in and month out. Our package, what we're selling our package for here, because you don't need the e-commerce, is $199. Okay, $199. And if you need the e-commerce, we can get you that e-commerce as well. Okay, but $200 a month. And again, I challenge you to find any employee that can do half of what Infusionsoft will do for you for $200 a month. Right? In addition to that, the other thing I'm offering at the event only today is I'm going to give you a 60-day money-back guarantee. Okay, so a lot of you are like, I don't know, is this the right thing? Well, let's figure it out together. If you'll commit to doing the onboarding, the Kickstart, and you'll leverage your consultant and hold yourself accountable and take some ownership of that process, that 30-day implementation process, I'll give you another 30 days to watch it work. And if for some reason you're like, yeah, it's not really for me and my note investing, I'll give you all your money back. So there's absolutely no risk whatsoever. Great time to buy. Best offer I've ever made. And that's not a sales trick. That's just the truth. Great question. Any other questions that I can answer? I mean, I know I did a pretty masterful job of educating. Please. Excellent question. So obviously, I really try. When we created Infusionsoft, we didn't say, hey, let's create a software so that people have to go outsource to get help to run it, okay? That wasn't our intention. However, we also are big believers of the principle, do what you do best. And if you can outsource, then by all means, I highly recommend it. And we do have a lot of third-party certified partners that can do that can do some done-for-you campaigns, that can help you do some stuff. Again, in the marketplace, you can go and see who those partners are. There are a lot of people that do that for their living, right? They're certified partners. They've figured out how to use Infusionsoft, and they service those who don't want to really learn it to that degree, want someone to do it for them, where you can just say, hey, how much would you charge me to create this, right? So you create the map. I've always said if you're an entrepreneur, the first thing you should get when you start your own company, you know what it is? A whiteboard. Because it's really what it's about, right? It's about being able to map it out. The problem people have with Infusionsoft is not Infusionsoft. Sorry to say, it's them. And it's not them personally, it's them knowing, what do I do with Infusionsoft? It's like having this Rolls Royce that all they do is open up the garage, pull it out, check the mail, and pull it back in the car, right? We got a Ferrari parked in the garage, and you just don't know how to use it. And that's what we're here. And there are ways to help you do it. So number one, I say leverage the marketplace, the campaigns that are already there for you. I call it the light bulb store. I taught for years. For 20 years, I taught. And when I would sit in front of a classroom, I'd say to my students, how many of you have had an experience with whatever? And no one would raise their hand. No one would raise their hand. And then finally, one person would. And then after that one person would do that, pretty soon light bulbs would go on, right? And pretty soon, and that's what happened. You go to the marketplace and see those campaigns, and you start looking at them and start helping you create the ideas, right? So then we do have those people that can do it for you as well. Any other questions? So if there aren't any more, I do have one more thing, because I've talked about people that are using Infusionsoft and those things, but I've asked Yvonne, and if you're still willing, She was probably just going back, is he going to act as he said it? Is he going to? I've asked someone, I've asked one of your peers, okay? I can tell you, how awesome it is to use Infusionsoft. But I've asked Yvonne to just take a minute. Yvonne, why don't you come up here really quick? Would you mind? Is that okay? Awesome. So give a round of applause for Yvonne. It's always hard to get up in front of people, right? Maybe not for Yvonne. She said she's a little shy. I didn't believe it. She's an introvert. But where I struggle a little bit because I'm a little not in the note investor space. It's not my area of expertise. I'm a small business growth expert. That's what I do, is help people know how to run their businesses. This is a different niche for me. And so I've asked someone who maybe is using a little bit in some of that world, how you're using Infusionsoft and what the benefit is and what you would say as to why they need to take advantage of Infusionsoft. Would you mind doing that?
Sure, no
All in
problem.
2 minutes.
Wow, 2 minutes or less? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Yvonne. I came in from New Jersey. I'm with National Note Group. You might know the tall, good-looking, bull-headed guy. That's Fuquan. He's the owner. I run the trade desk, so anybody want to buy notes. But anyway, back to Infusionsoft. We were using another software that was recommended by some people, and it was not very cohesive to all the things that we needed to do, which was like, if I meet you today, I want you to remember me. So I want to say hello. I want to say, how did the event go for you? Did you learn stuff? And then you'll probably come back to me. The other software that we have, it was really hard to keep track of that. Being able to scan the cards and just put your information in there. The people that I've met so far today, they've already gotten emails from me, and they're like walking around there going, oh my God, how are you? I just got an email from you. So it's really cool that you can have that kind of turnaround. That's number one. Number two, their support system was phenomenal, because the other people that we had, they were non-existent. So we had, simple questions like, how do I attach this? How do I build campaigns? Things like that. They have help online. They have, virtual help. They have human help. So it got us to the point where we can come to a place like this, meet, 50 people, put them all in the database, and figure out what they want to do. Because we have an academy. We also have people that want to buy notes. You have people that are new. You have people that are seasoned. You have investors who don't want to have anything to do with notes. They just want to give you their money and go away, which is okay. So we want to be sure that we're not sending the investor the campaign for people who want to buy notes and vice versa. So that's what tags do for you. It separates out the information, and I can market strictly to you on the things that you want to know about, not just, oh, the sky was pretty today. You don't care. So it helps you formulate and get all that information. Also, the notes and the information, like we have vetting docs. Before I can give you the information about the notes, you have to send me information and pretty much promise that you're not going to do anything bad with it. So we put that in our process. So now everything is online. You can go online, you can get vetted. I get an email that says, oh, you have a new person. So I immediately, maybe a day or two, it's tasked to call you and say, okay, I see that you went through the vetting process. To me, that's a serious buyer. That's top of my list. If you're going to take the time to get vetted, then you really want to know what's going on. So then I'm going to send you information, everything that you need to know about how to buy a note and step you through the process. So we love Infusionsoft. We're definitely, he was like, oh my gosh, but we for me, it's made my life so much easier. So
Thank you. Round of applause.
that's my 2 minutes.
Thank you. Man, I couldn't have said it better if I tried, and I do appreciate that. And we are so grateful for our Infusionsoft family. Friends, this is a great offer. Aaron, Travis, I'm ready to wrap up. We're kind of finishing up here. I don't know if there's anything you to add to them. We've made them a really killer offer, okay? So I'd encourage you that if you're considering at all, now's a great time. Come see us at the back at our booth back there. Let's get it started. Take advantage of our 60-day money-back guarantee. Let's see how you can begin to automate those processes so you can summit to the top of your mountain, because that's what we're really all about, that you might get there and enjoy the view is what we're really all about. I'm Scott Robley. We're Infusionsoft, and we help small businesses succeed. Thanks so much. Appreciate it very much.
Hey, one thing I just wanted to announce that I've had a conversation with Scott, and I'm excited about, very excited about. A lot of you guys know that my role is capital, raising capital, bringing on capital, and one of the best ways to raise capital is to educate capital, right? People who have it about the opportunity, and running webinars on an ongoing basis, right? Running workshops on an ongoing basis, right? Automating that whole process, building out the campaign to do that, where literally a full-time person that might be sitting at a desk doing that manually, right? These are things that we use this software for. And I've had a lot of comments this weekend. They're like, wow, I was at your last event last year, And look at what you guys have done, right, in 1 year. And I sit there and I say, I'm focused on all the things that we didn't have time to do, right, that we could have done. And this was done through email marketing and webinars that Infusionsoft powered the whole thing and made it real easy, right? And so there's some integrations that happen with GoToWeb. I mean, these are all things that I can't even tell you, you know. So I look at the price tag that you have. It is an investment, right? So I'm not up here trying to, you know, do a hard close. I just want to tell you what's helped us, and we're just scratching the scratch. And one of the things that we're working on is these different campaigns we're doing where you can actually have those campaigns and we get those pushed out to your app, right? So these campaigns that we've spent all this time and effort to build, there's the capacity to do that just where it would get pushed out. And we can talk more about that if some of you guys are interested in that as it relates to doing workshops and webinars. But anyway, just wanted you to hear that stuff that's going on. And that's just in the real estate business. I'm looking at several of your faces. And what I know about you guys is you already have other businesses that this could totally help you in your workshops and marketing efforts. And that's something I'd love to help you do as well as talk about that. So anyway, just wanted to add that. Thank you.